Welcome to the world's first Straight Talk Solarcast. This is your go-to podcast for answers about solar. Brought to you by Solar Harmonics in Northern California, who invite their customers to own their energy by purchasing a solar panel system for their home, business, or farm. Each episode, we discuss questions facing people making the decision to go solar. The solutions to your questions are given to you straight by one of the leading experts in the solar industry, Jamie Duran, president of Solar Harmonics. Feel free to search our library for answers to questions that you're facing when considering solar. And now, here's Adam Duran, our host with the questions, and Jamie Duran, our solar expert with Straight Talk Solarcast.
Hello, Jamie.
Hello, Adam.
How's everything in the land of solar this week?
Well, I have one scary story and then another.
Yours are really scary. That's why.
It's one of my dreams to make an adult haunted house. So with insurance and taxes and long-term health care. So
Thank you.
the house of depression. How about that?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very exciting. And then I do have something kind of fun to talk about too.
Oh, all right. Bring it on. Let's go.
All right. We'll start with the scary story. So let's just say you have a home and the home has solar and you did a solar lease. And now you are ready to move out of your house and you feel that it's your obligation to buy out this lease and not leave the new owner with this, this liability that you signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of such a thing, but now I have. And this customer, not our customer, but went ahead and the company was very eager to take his lease payoff. And his house is closing and he can't get the lien release. And what happens with a solar lease, it's like getting a loan on your home where they file a lien on your property. And you cannot sell your home until that lien is satisfied. Either the new buyer takes it on and they're making the payments. They have to get approved credit-wise. And if they don't qualify, now you are forced to buy it out if you want to sell the house. So that has tanked so many real estate deals. But now this was kind of weird, like I said, because this person bought out their solar lease. And it was not a small amount of money. And they've had the solar panel system for a long, long time. I'd say over 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it was still quite a bit. And now the lease company is being very slow in, filing the lien release. And so now the entire home process is being held up until this, this solar lien. And so what would you do in this case?
Oh, no. Oh, man. I feel so powerless in this arena.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know what I would do either. But he's calling and he's emailing and having his agent and his broker and his title company all call. And their response, especially the title company, was like, oh, yeah, this is how it is with solar leases. It's really, really difficult to get them to release the lien.
Whoa.
And because they have no incentive to do so. And it's pain in the neck for nobody really. But yeah, they're super slow in getting the lien release. So they have to keep pushing out the escrow date and pushing it out. And so what this is doing is the buyer, their loan is not getting pushed out. And so he's told me if it doesn't close by October 31st, then the buyer is going to pull out. And the buyer loves everything about the house, everything. And is so excited to get solar that they're not going to have to pay for. But they ended up paying, there was a little bit of a premium on the home. Not as much as he had to do for the lease buyout. But in any event, that's pretty scary. I'm not a fan of all of that. If you can own the system, and if you cannot, then loan only. It just makes so much more sense. And people often say, "Oh, I don't care. I'm going to be dead by the time this 25 years when the lease is out." Well, this is a nice present you're giving to your heirs to have to deal with, because at some point the house will be sold during that 25 years. And even if that 25 years runs out, that doesn't mean the lease runs out. Some of them I've seen have auto renewals, and it just renews for another 25 years.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's like a timeshare on top of your house.
It is a rental on top of your house. Exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And the rent goes up every year. And whether the system's performing or not, it's kind of crazy. So
how can that be legal?
Lots of things in the solar industry make me scratch my head, but that's why we encourage people to listen to this podcast. And if you do know someone who has a solar lease, please send them this podcast so they at least will be prepared and can get all of this stuff done and go into escrow and not try to get it done during escrow. It's very stressful for everyone involved, and anyone who's been through a home purchase, even without solar. It's crazy that this thing on the roof, this glass on the roof, causes so much trouble and can really tank an entire a whole real estate deal with hundreds of thousands of dollars at stake. So, not a fan of that. But that's your spooky Halloween solar haunted house story of the week.
You got a new one every week.
Well, wow. It's almost Halloween, and then we'll be back to sunshine and lollipops. Nothing there.
I don't believe you. But
speaking of that, so we're not huge fans of the company Tesla, but they're very diverse. And what I'll say about the Tesla Powerwall, especially the Powerwall 3, is that it's the most innovative battery and the easiest to install, the most reliable, and the most control for the customer. They basically control all of the settings through the Tesla app. And so the app and the battery work really, really well together. And what Tesla is coming out with is, let's just say you have an existing Powerwall 3 and you wanted to expand it because you have more electricity needs for it. Mm-hmm. Now they're coming out with an expansion pack, which means it's basically the same battery, but it doesn't have all of the extras in it. So like a solar inverter and all of the electronics that go with the Powerwall, the first Powerwall 3. Mm-hmm. And so now it's just essentially another giant battery that you can expand, and you can add up to 3 more Powerwalls or Powerwall expansions. And the idea is that these are supposed to be less expensive. And so it is less expensive and less installation costs. So it'll be cheaper and easier it's not going to be free, of course. These are still big batteries. But let's just say a Powerwall costs $15,000. I would expect the expansion to probably be in the $13,000 range. And if you add more, then they can probably go down to $10,000 or $11,000 installed. So it's people are saying, I'm waiting to do batteries until they are less expensive. Well, this is an innovation that allows us to expand the system with very, very little installation costs. So very excited about that, and very happy that Tesla keeps putting money and research and development into the Powerwall 3. And, we'll see what happens with next, but it from what we're seeing, it's a really nice innovation, and it definitely makes a lot of sense. We've worked with other battery systems where it starts with a 9.6 kilowatt hour battery, and then it can be expanded up to like 40 kilowatt hour, and it's just really stacking batteries, and those are great too. But this one, just the advancement of the Powerwall and being able to back up the whole home during an outage, or even supply power, to air conditioners and electric vehicles. It could really, be off grid completely if you wanted. So, except for natural gas, and we'll see how it goes. But I think we're going to be seeing a lot more people, starting with who have the Powerwall 3 installed, adding expansion packs, and it won't be as crazy expensive as it is to install one of them.
So this is a great, like a continued innovation from Tesla.
Yep.
I'm hoping they're going to continue innovating in this space. Is that what it looks like to you?
For sure. Yeah. It's, with would love it if you could buy a their roof, the Tesla roof. But I think they're discontinuing that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and
Elon Musk pointing at the roof and going, "That's the future."
That's the future with a Cybertruck in front of it. And but innovation-wise, their engineers are pretty good. I would say the design is all that exciting, but it's the function of these of this solar equipment is really good, and so we will continue. And Tesla is just they're migrating away from the install side, and then they are moving more to just being the supplier side and letting us deal with the customers. But if they can put more and more into their solar equipment, then it's been pretty great.
That sounds awesome. I mean, for the solar installers, that sounds great. And I don't know. I hope Tesla still is able to, because they still install systems too.
You mean solar panel systems?
Yeah. Yes.
They're leaving that space. We did a whole podcast on that.
What do you think? I listen to this?
But yep. So that's any other questions?
No, that sounds like a great innovation. I hope they do continue it in the space, in the part of the manufacturing, because I mean, it sounds like the sky's the limit, because the demand for this is it's not ending.
Well, I think one thing that they're really going to do next is something called PowerShare, and it has it on the Cybertruck already, where it does that vehicle to grid that we've talked about. So, which is good. But now, if you drive away, there goes your battery. But now, if you have multiple Powerwalls and you have the car, now you're really talking, 100, 200 kilowatt hours of battery storage. And if you drive away, you still have your Powerwalls with the expansion pack. So it's pretty good innovation. And we, so many things that we've talked about with being able to sell power back to PG&E, discharge your batteries during peak time and actually get paid for it. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool. And then I just sent you something about PG&E. Will reward you with $75 if you let them manage your EV charging. So, I know. So we'll cut it off there. If you don't have any other questions, and we'll get another scary story for next week. But leasing, everybody. Don't lease. If you did lease, thank you for going solar. And if you do plan to sell, make sure you get the lien release ahead of time, no matter what, because it's the worst thing to have to get everything lined up and then you're waiting on solar.
100%.
Crazy.
Wow. That does sound like a nightmare. Thank you, Jamie, for letting us know about that.
You're welcome.
Oh, boy. All right. If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure to give us a 5-star rating wherever you downloaded it. If you have a question for Jamie for an upcoming episode, you know what to do. Go to our Facebook page, Straight Talk Solarcast, and send us a message through there. If you have a question that you think maybe has been answered, you can go to our website, solarharmonics.com, and you can click on the podcast link at the top of the page, and you'll be taken to our library of our past episodes. If you have a friend considering going solar, or they've already leased their system, this would be an excellent podcast to share with them, because it will save them tons of headaches, obviously, and probably a lot of money too. So until next time, everyone, see you.
That's all for now. Thank you for listening to this episode of Straight Talk Solarcast with solar expert Jamie Duran. Join us each week for more answers to your solar questions. Speaking of questions, got some? Email us at solarcast@solarharmonics.com, and we'll be sure to give you an answer in an upcoming episode. This episode of Straight Talk Solarcast is brought to you by Solar Harmonics, the leading solar energy developer in Northern California, who invite you to own your energy. Visit them on the web at www.solarharmonics.com.